Welcome to Diaspora Diary. On Diaspora Diary, we get to meet people of African descent who left their native home country to travel abroad, male, female, young or old. We don't just get to meet them, but we also kind of feel what they felt, feel their experiences, their good experiences, their bad experiences, their challenges, and their victories. That's what we get to feel or do here on Diaspora Diary. Come along with me, let's unfold it together. On today's episode of Diaspora Diary, we have Ishaku Atam. Who is Ishaku Atam? What is Ishaku Atam? Where is Ishaku Atam? Let's get to find out together about Ishaku Atam. What's your name?
My name is Ishaku Atam. I was born in Kaduna in northern Nigeria.
And where are you now? Your current location?
My current location is Catonsville, Maryland, in Baltimore County.
How long have you been here?
I've been here since 1988. That's a long time.
Wow. What inspired you to come to the United States of America? Yes, tell us the story. Introduce us. What inspired you to leave Kaduna? When you were living in Nigeria, were you living in Kaduna State?
No, I was living in Lagos before I came to the United States.
Okay.
I have an older brother, cousin that I can say that was a pilot with Nigerian Airways.
Okay.
And he was in Lagos at that time, but at the same time I was in the service.
In the service, doing what?
I was in the Nigerian Navy.
Nigerian Navy?
Yes.
Wow. Wow. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
So when did you stop being in the Navy?
That was in 1986.
So what made you leave Nigeria and why the United States of America?
Like I said, my older brother I was living with in Lagos, he was a pilot with Nigerian Airways, and he flies DC-10. And he's always flying New York, London, New York, and living with him and seeing him traveling back and forth, and you know, it started to get me excited about one day traveling myself to one of these places. And he was really my mentor and my, my motivator that wanted me to leave, but at the same time I had a job. I didn't have to leave, but I look at my future. At that time I was a young man. I was, what, 22, 23, 24. So I was still very young then, and I was anxious to just travel. I just like to travel. And I decided, some of my friends that I met while I was in Lagos, they were all Nigerian Airways staff. And most of them left their job and they traveled overseas to New York, to Chicago. And all of them, they settled down there and they will send me pictures of them, how their life is good, and their cars, their this. And I said, but why not me? All those factors kind of made me wanted to come to the US especially to go to school. I wanted to come here and get a college degree, get education, and someday go back home and go and start either a business or maybe try to see if I can get a job with the government. But when I came here, I met my wife, and at that young age, and we fall in love, and eventually we decided to marry. She said, "You're not going back. You're staying here with me."
Who said so?
My wife.
Wow.
She said, "You're not going back."
Where's she from?
She's from the British West Indies. She was born in the British West Indies. That's where her parents are from. But she grew up in St. Thomas, which is the U.S. Virgin Islands.
So she said, "You are not going back."
Yeah, she said, "We're not going back. We're going to stay here." Because at the same time, she was pregnant with my son.
Oh, wow. And how long have you been married to your wife now?
32 years.
32 years?
Yes.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
How did you now, transit, like, from your visitor's visa to becoming...
Okay, good question. They gave me 3 months visa. But when I came in, I was at the airport, they gave me 6 months.
They extended it?
Well, when you get the visa, but at the point of entry, they can give you any time you want. So they gave me 6 months. I can't stay more than 6 months. So that 6 months expired. But before it expired, I was able to get a job doing dishes in a restaurant. And the pay at that time, compared to where I was making $5 an hour. And $5 an hour at that time. When I came here, Naira was $3 to 1. 3 Naira to $1 US. That's how when I left.
Nigerian Naira to 1 United States dollars.
Yeah, 3 Naira to $1 US.
Yeah.
So even at that time, we think, oh, if you change $10, that's how much you're going to get, that kind of thing. So I said, this is a good thing. Why don't I just manage what I was doing? But luckily enough, my brother-in-law was so kind enough, say, he was a taxi driver, and he said, just stay and make a life for yourself here. Don't even worry about going back.
When you got here, how did this country, how did they embrace you, the challenges you faced, what jobs, how were you, what about housing, feeding,
yes.
And
Well, he got a little rough at some point. That the person I was living with, the wife didn't want me, she was, didn't want me there and that kind of thing. So at some point, I think I lived in my car for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I was, because when I started working, within 3 months, I was able to buy a used car, save my money, buy a used car. So at one point, I have all my belongings, all my life, everything was in my car. So I would just pull up at the motel or at the gas station, and I can just take a nap and things like that, and I can go to work from my car. And for
how long did you do this?
This probably for about a month.
You said that you were coming to United States with a dream and ambition of going to school.
Yes,
did it happen?
It did happen, but it's a long way
in.
It's long way in.
Okay.
Before it happened, because at that time you need support before you can go to school. I don't have who pay my school fees.
Okay.
And things like that. So it took a while. In fact, after my son was born, before I even went back to school. But I keep going in and out, because now I have a wife and a kid that I have to support. So it becomes very challenging and very difficult. But I still was able to go to school, which is Strayer University in Washington, D.C.
So what other jobs were you doing?
I did drive taxis. And then I left the taxi. I started driving limousines. Drove limousines for a good 10, 12 years. I had one Sunny Limousines in Alexandria, Virginia. So after that, while I was doing the taxi, but I remember that I have this skill. I know how to grill, and it was a passion of mine, because when we were kids growing up, we used to go in the bush, catch rabbits and everything, and we just barbecue them in the bush there before we come home. So I remember that. Then I started doing I said, let me make a trial. I tried make samples, and I'll put in my cab, my taxi or my limousines, and I'll go to where all the taxi drivers are and all the limousine drivers are, and they'll be buying, I'll be selling to them. And that's how I started this 3-year business, actually. And
so you went from the limousine driving to this business?
To this business, yes. But then I got fired. One day I went to work, and they say my service was no longer required. And I sat in my car outside in the parking lot, and I said, God, what do you have for me? God, and I can feel God telling me, go and do what you have been to this go and handle your grill. You will be fine. For 2 weeks, I didn't tell my family, I didn't tell my wife that I no longer have a job. I was just hiding, but I was struggling with my grill in the back of the house. I was grilling in the back of the house. My neighbors complaining, oh, you smoke here, smoke there. I say, I got to survive.
Have you started selling then?
Yes, I've started selling then. But usually, most of my friends, when they come, I love to grill. As soon as I get visitor in my house, I'm find the grill. I make suya for them, make roast chicken, roast this, roast that, and
you enjoyed it.
Then so they were like, Mallam, why you have all this talent? Why are you just sitting? Why are you not making money doing this? And that's how the idea just hit my head. I said, but how can I say, me, Ishaku, I come from Nigeria, all the way to America, come the roast meat, come to Sweden. So, you know, young age that time, you know, how can I do that? When people go here from Nigeria, say they rose me for America. so, but I, you know, it was my.
Married then?
Yeah, I was married then.
So what was your wife saying about? Did you share the vision with your wife then?
I shared it with her.
But
She said, "This is America. People who are dirty, people who they have the most money. All these people, when see people as dirty as he is, they are the people that have money because you got to work." And
so she encouraged you.
She encouraged me.
She didn't discourage you.
No, she didn't say. Is that this is not a? I mean, why am I down in the? I mean, why? You say in America here, people, anything you do for money, say anything you touch your hand in, if you are good at it, you will see the reward, because that's the American way.
So after her encouragement, what happened?
After her encouragement, I decided to go downtown and apply for to set up the LLC and to set up the business. And I started doing the documentation. But meanwhile, I'm still selling the back of my trunk. I still have a cooler in the back of my trunk. I put suya there and I go around and I sell. That's how I kept doing until I have an issue with my neighbor that was complaining too much about my smoke and coming to our yard.
From the grill.
Yeah, coming to our yard, and she can't stand the smoke. It's doing this, so she has to go to health department and complain.
Wow.
That you know, this is what that I'm cooking and selling out of my home, which is illegal.
No certificate, no license.
Yeah, can't do that.
So what happened?
So the health department came and told me not to do it, but I have to survive. So every now and then I will try and do some. So she kept calling them. So they came one day and gave me a $10,000 fine. I look at that $10,000 and say, wow, if I have the $10,000 right now, I'll go back to Nigeria. So I have to go to court, and luckily, I know the judge.
You go back to Nigeria to go and do what?
Well, maybe take the $10,000 I'm going to start buying coconut here, or buying yam here, or buying cassava here and selling. That's what I was just saying to myself, that if I have that $10,000 in my hand right now, I can go to Nigeria.
Were you tired at that time? Were you discouraged?
Yeah, it kind of stamped me down a little bit, but you know, it was just something that it wasn't that I was going to do that, because I already have two kids. I have my son and my daughter, so I can't just look at them and just walk away from them. So I decided to go to court, fight it, and the judge asked me, Mr. Tam, do you have $10,000? I said, Your Honor, I don't have it. If I have it, Your Honor, probably.
You defended yourself?
Yes.
You didn't get a lawyer?
I didn't get a lawyer, I didn't get nothing. I just went by myself. I just was going to tell my story when I get to the judge. I'll tell him my story. That, you know, this is survival for me. And luckily enough for me, the judge told me, he said, look, Mr. Tam, you have to go and find a licensed kitchen. And for right now, I'm going to give you a break on this $10,000. You don't have to pay the $10,000, but you have to go and find a licensed kitchen.
Wow.
And there's license that you can do your work there, but legally not doing what you're doing. Because when I went to court, when they showed me the evidence they have against me, my mouth dropped. They showed me all the evidence. I didn't even know they were coming there, recording me. I don't even know, seeing me carrying things to customers' cars from my house and all that. So when I see it, I'm like, well, okay, I think it's all over. But the judge was kind enough. He said, you know, Satam, go find a licensed kitchen, and he put his gavel down. And that's how.
And then you were pardoned from paying the $10,000.
I was pardoned from paying the $10,000. I came home and I told my wife, I said, well, it's like God knows that what is, you know, what I'm going through, that he gave this judge a kind of kind heart to pardon me. So I said, well, now we have to look for a licensed kitchen. I told her what the judge said, and then we spring into action. have the friend that offered me a place to come and use his place temporarily to support myself while I'm looking. At least I can survive from that. But thank God also, my wife was fully employed with American Red Cross. So actually she was carrying the whole load. She was carrying the family within those. But then the little supplementary I was bringing in was helping.
So you were looking for how long did it take?
About 6 months. I have to tell my wife, can you borrow me $200? I take $200 that I have to use to buy a box of meat.
A box of what?
A box of meat. And I put it and I make suya out of it. And that case of box gave me like $1,200. From that $1,200, I had to go now and buy like 5 boxes of meat because we have secured this place.
Okay, you borrowed $200 from your wife.
Yeah.
You made $1,200.
Yes.
Now you went back now and buy 5 boxes of meat.
Yes.
And you already secured the license.
You already secured this license.
Now you are ready to roll.
Now we are now ready to roll.
Okay.
So I called my son. I say, son, I think we got a kitchen. I say, I think we can team up and do father and son suya something. You know, that kind of thing.
Son, come over, let's partner.
let's partner.
Let's partnership.
So I started.
Family business.
Yeah, because even when we're doing it at the back of the house, he comes and help me out whenever he's he comes and help me out in the back. So I know he can do it. So I say, well, I think America need kilishi here real bad. Somebody has to do something about this. It could be, I say, it could be my calling. So when I came,
your calling to be the one to be doing kilishi here.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
So I came and I bought a box of meat. I say I do some trial sample
of
the kilishi, yes, with the kind of seasoning I'll make it here by myself. And I was giving it to people to try it. Say, it's good though.
Were you giving it to them for free?
Yeah, for free. The feedback was so great. It was so great that I have this African supermarket in Randerstown call me and say, Alaji, Mallam, you have to go into production because people like it. The people who have sampled this into, they say it's good, we can go into production. So now what I had to do, I have to travel back to Nigeria to go, and I have a mentor that is in Katsina that met me in Kaduna, and we sat down together and he told me how the process goes. I have to learn from him. He has to show me the kilishi. That's for the kilishi, not for the suya.
Was that after you started the suya?
Yes, after I started the suya.
Who taught you how to actually do the suya in the first place?
I taught myself, to be honest.
You taught yourself?
Yes, because based on what I've been seeing back home when I was growing up in Kaduna, I'm around where they're making suya. I hang around there sometimes, where people buy suya, and we'll go and fetch the firewood for them, and they'll give us little suya here, give you little pennies.
So while you were doing all that, you were also learning?
Learning, yes.
And you never knew this was
I never knew that in my wildest dream that one day I could be in America doing this. So, but that knowledge stayed in me. So when I came,
God is good.
Yeah, I started trying, making trials. It took a lot. If you see pictures of me when I was starting it from my backyard and just trying several trials before I got it right. To be honest with you, my kilishi in this country has no match up to today. Because all my ingredients, yes, all my ingredients come. There are so many people that make kilishi, so many people that makes it. I bring my seasoning direct from Nigeria for the kilishi. Only the suya I make it here myself, but the kilishi I bring it from Nigeria. And if you can talk to any of the supermarkets, I can give you a list of them and ask them how their market, how they marketing this. They'll tell you, oh, this thing flies off the shelf. People buy one today, tomorrow they come, they buy 5, 10.
So you started to make this en masse for the stores, for the supermarket?
Yes, I started to make it for the supermarket.
The kilishi that we do here, my father goes and buys meat in bulk. We take to the slicer and slice them thin, put them in the oven, let them dry out. Then my father makes his special kilishi paste, put it for the meat, and put them back in the oven to dry a second time.
This kilishi, how do you distribute? I mean, is it just within Baltimore region alone, or
I ship it all over the country.
you ship from Baltimore to all over the
country.
United States
Yeah.
of America?
Yes.
So that means you now package kilishi.
I package it, and I have an account with UPS. I have an account with Postal Service. I have an account. So when a customer gives us an order, we put it together, package it, just go to the post office and to UPS and drop it off, and the customer they can pay through Zelle, they can pay through Cash App, you know, they can pay through credit card.
So basically, suya is not your main.
No, right? It was my main.
It was your start off.
Yes, it was my startup.
But it's not your main now.
No, Kilishi is my main.
Kilishi is your main.
Yes.
You are major in Kilishi.
My major in Kilishi. This is Kilishi.
Okay.
In America, we call it beef jerky.
Beef jerky.
Yes, and you can see here, say Mallam Ishaku suya,
Okay.
because that's my suya is my start of it. So
Okay.
I can never part with that name.
Yeah.
It become my household
brand.
my brand. First of all, we cook the meat in the oven and the rotisserie that we have, and then when it dry out, then we take it out and then we paste it. When we paste it, then we put it back for the paste to dry.
So this is how you ship it.
This is how we ship it.
Out of Baltimore.
Out of Baltimore.
This
That's
how
how
you
we
ship
ship it out of Baltimore.
This is the.
I just
this
ship
is Kilishi.
Kilishi, and this is
But
suya.
it's popularly known in America as beef jerky,
yes.
for non-Nigerians.
No,
But we Nigerians that this is
Kilishi. Kilishi, yes.
all the way from Nigeria.
Yes.
Produced here in Baltimore
Yes.
by
Mallam Ishaku.
Ishaku Atta.
Yes.
And then this is suya.
This is suya,
Now,
yes.
how long does this, take to,
The suya can stay in the freezer for up to a year. And
Up to 1 year?
Yeah. The Kilishi can stay up to 6 months. But it don't have to be in the refrigerator. It
Okay.
can be in
Just
room temperature.
room temperature for the kilishi?
Yes.
But suya has to be
In the freezer, yeah.
Were there times that you were discouraged along the line, along the journey, that you just felt like, I don't think this country is for me?
I have never really got to a point where I'll say this country is not for me because of the discouragement I'm having from back home.
From Nigeria?
Yes.
You had a lot of...
Well, the discouragement from back home is that I'm feeling like I might not be able to go back home there to live.
Like you don't have an option of going back to Nigeria.
Exactly. And
so
that
you
is,
have to make it work.
I have to make it work where I am. So, and that is the only thing, because my dream was one day to retire, or maybe even my son is now saying, Dad, we have to go to Nigeria and set up, this packaging thing and all that, and see how every day even when I took him to visit, we have been to Nigeria himself. So he said, Dad, we need to, go and get a property there, land property, and just set up this production. My phones don't stop ringing. Our
Your
website,
phones don't stop ringing.
Yes, you call me. How can I get? I came to Maryland and I bought this pack. How can I get in Arizona? Or I came from Chicago and I get this pack from this supermarket. How can I get you to ship it to me here? That's the kind of thing I get every day. I got messages from people saying, Mallam, thank you for what you're doing in America, because really, you took me back home.
Beautiful.
I have people come from the airport. They just landed from Nigeria. They came straight to my shop, and they say, I couldn't wait to come back to eat your suya.
To the kitchen?
Yes.
Straight to the kitchen?
Coming here to come and buy it. That they couldn't wait to get back to eat. I have a guy that told me literally he was in Kaduna, in Lagos, and Abuja, but he couldn't wait to come back to eat to his suya that I made.
Forever gonna be African, in Australia, African, in Asia, African, anywhere I go, African, Europe I am African, down South America, African, up North America, African, the way we talk Africa, and the way we walk.
So one question I want to ask you is, would you say this is an American dream, or how does the American dream affect you?
I have people telling me that, you are living an American dream. But it's an American dream, yes.
Okay.
It's an American dream.
How is it an American dream?
In America, if you own a home, you own a business, you have a wife, children, that's an American dream. They encourage you here, they don't discourage you. They correct you so you can be better. Because when you get better, the country get better. And that is what it is.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Ishaku Atam,
Yes.
thank you for your time. Thank you for what you're doing.
Yes.
Thank you for becoming a landmark place
Yes.
for Nigerians in the diaspora.
Yes.
It's been a great time, and I'm sure that a lot of people that are watching this episode right now will be grateful for what you are doing. I'm sure if you're able to get a handful of, there will be a lot of your customers that will see you and they're like, oh, that's him, I know him. That's him,
I've heard his product.
That's someone who has preserved the culture of this in America. Thank you so much.
My dad, his vision is far-reaching. He's seeing way down the line. He wants factories and to be in Walmarts and things like that. And I see his dedication to that every day. The man does not take rest at all. He comes in every day. Even sometimes I have to look at myself like, let me double my own hustle, because this man that's older than me is here every day, crack of the morning. He's the last one to leave. And his determination is really inspiring to me. So, yeah, to be able to grow under someone like that and be able to see that is good for my own hustle, and for my son coming behind me. You know, to see that we have a man in front of us that's showing us what a man does and how a man gets stuff done.
I am so inspired, so inspired. Wow, what a story, what an inspiration of a journey that I have come to hear or learn today with Ishaku Atam. Come on, I just am elated and I'm encouraged to keep traveling and keep bringing you stories of Africans in the diaspora, doing so good, doing so well. This is a story from grass to grace and from nothing to promotion, absolutely from disappointment to promotion. Wow. Thank you so much for staying tuned on this episode of Diaspora Diary. And I remain yours, Prophet Jazzy. And until I see you on another wonderful and interesting episode of Diaspora Diary, let the light of God shine on your path and let it give you direction. Peace. I am out of here.
Forever gonna be African, in Australia, African, in Asia, African, anywhere I go, African, Europe I am African, down South America, Africa, up north.